E se eu te dissesse que existe uma forma de desligar aquela voz incessante dentro da sua mente? Aquela voz que não para de relembrar o passado ou se preocupar com o futuro, enquanto o presente passa despercebido. Pois bem, imagine encontrar uma chave poderosa que pode te libertar dessa prisão mental e te conduzir ao caminho da paz interior. Essa chave está ao alcance de todos, revelada no livro O Poder do Agora, de Eckhart Tolle. Em suas páginas, somos convidados a questionar a identificação com a mente e o ego, que são responsáveis por nos manter presos em padrões de pensamento negativos e limitantes. Você é mais do que sua mente. O pensador pensa o pensamento, mas não é o pensamento.
To be present, first of all, use the present moment to become, but how do you become conscious of the present moment? Now when you get it, after a while you can actually sense the presence of the present, so to speak, directly, and there it is. But helpful things are sense perceptions, take you out of thinking. If you're not judging the sense perceptions, labeling, naming, looking around, anywhere, wherever you are, look around. Practice sense perceptions without this compulsive interference of naming what you're perceiving. Oh, that's a beautiful flower, I wonder what it's called. I don't know what it's called, so that helps, I can be free of thinking. If I know what it's called, I can say, oh, that's such and such, and then drop that. And see what it means to perceive without the interference of concepts, words. In this moment, for example, you're looking at me. Now, let's say, between now and now, were you thinking? No. Okay, and again, between now and now, were you thinking or present? No thought. And while I speak, do you need to think to understand what I'm saying, or can you just listen and understand it? And this is what you're doing. And so that's part of the teaching and the function of the spiritual teacher. Imparting information is secondary. What I'm telling you now is secondary. What is primary is the underlying state of consciousness, which is presence. That's the teaching. But you can't talk about that. It's underlying. But a sign that it's working is that while you listen, there's no thought. There's just an alert presence. And when the so-called teacher stops speaking for a moment, the alert presence remains. It does not need to be filled with anything. Like now. What is there to think about? Nothing. Now, if we do this for longer, at some point, your mind will probably start up and think, how much longer is it going to sit there? And when that happens, you can allow your mind to say, how much longer is it going to sit there and say nothing, and then come back to presence. And then some other thought will come. What's this all about? And then you can allow that thought to rise and then be present again. Which means you're not really, your priority is no longer to follow the thought where it wants to take you. Because the thought has a magnetic pull, it wants more of your consciousness, it wants to grow. Because it's a little entity. It wants to grow, so it wants your attention. And in subtle ways it tries to get your attention. It says, it might even use a bodily feeling. It says, gosh, I'm hungry suddenly. Why didn't I need to eat something? And then you think of what restaurant you're going to afterwards. And so the presence is gone, you are looking for a restaurant in your mind. Which means the thought used as some bodily thing to make thoughts out of it, completely pointless because you can't find a restaurant because you're standing here. But it can use all kinds of things to manufacture more, to get your attention. And if you're not careful, if you don't know the mechanism, it's not so much an intellectual understanding, but a simple realization that this is what the mind does. It tries to pull you in. It's fine, that's what it does. Once you know that, you can allow thought to arise without following it where it wants you to go, which is into another bigger thought and a bigger one. So then you become like my dog when it finds a scent. And then suddenly, even when the dog is off leash, usually she's fine, she just runs around you, but suddenly she picks up a scent and then she goes off completely unaware of surroundings or anything, and just follows it. And she could get lost, she goes off to the horizon sometimes, just disappears. And that's, when you follow a thought, it goes like that. You can wake up 20 minutes later, and it started with being a little bit hungry and thinking of a restaurant, and it ends up with thinking about how dreadful your life is.
A mensagem inspiradora de Eckhart Tolle é um convite a despertar para a realidade do momento presente, abrindo espaço para uma nova percepção da vida, baseada na aceitação, gratidão e amor. A aceitação deste momento acaba sendo a descoberta de que você já é completo e inteiro agora. Eckhart Tolle.